Hello, everyone, and welcome to Blow the Whistle Sports. I'm your host, Wayne Holloway, and we have an exciting show for you. It is the end of the 22-23 season, and please let me introduce my co-host, Mr. Steven Rubain. How you doing, sir?
Man, I'm feeling amazing tonight. Amazing.
Man, you feel amazing, but don't you feel kind of sad?
Yeah, the end of the season is always a tough one. This has been kind of a up and down season as far as I'm concerned, NFL wise. So what should have been a great Super Bowl game was a little tainted at the end, but I'll get into that later.
Oh my goodness. You sound like these other folks. But yeah, it's going to be great
we'll
to
talk about that. Yeah,
it's going to be great
We'll talk about it. But yeah, otherwise, I thought it was a great Super Bowl game. Halftime show, I'll get into that a little bit as well. I
Did
thought
you like
it was pretty good.
Show?
I liked it, but I do have two critiques, and I'm going to go into and explain for future people who do the halftime show.
Hey, well, tell them, Steve. What's your critique?
All right, real simple critiques. Two, number one, if you're doing the halftime show, stick to only your hits. You know, people want to see you up there to do your best songs. You only got 13 minutes. So please just play the best songs that you have. Play the songs that people want to hear.
Those were all her best songs?
Those were all her best songs. No, she played a couple of her best songs, and she played a couple of the songs she could have left out. But otherwise, I mean, the choreography was great. I thought the dance moves, great. The visuals were great. Lip syncing was on point. She was lip syncing like I don't know what. It looked really bad. Her voice was going and her microphone was at her waist. That wasn't a good look.
And she was doing a lot of turning while the lips were still supposed to be
that wasn't a good look. But overall, I mean, it was about, I say top 10. I give her top 10 performances.
It
was top 10. It wasn't as good as last year. Now, last year's was great because they played only their hits, and he had more, which is my second critique. Bring somebody else on stage. Don't just try to do it all yourself.
Didn't they say that she was gonna have a special guest?
Yeah, they did, and she didn't do it. I mean, come on now.
I thought Jay-Z was gonna show up.
Right. I mean, if you Michael Jackson or Prince, you can do it by yourself. But Rihanna, you ain't at that level where you can just go up there by yourself and do the whole 13 minutes.
She did a couple of songs that Jay-Z was in, and he
wasn't even up there to do it. I mean,
he was there.
I know he was. Well, he read the halftime show. It's his show.
Wow.
Which is even worse why he didn't go up there and like do a cameo. I mean, that would have made the crowd go up. You had him pull up there and do it. That crowd would have gone wild. I gotta admit, I was kind of like at the end. I was like, "Is that it?" I was kind of like at the, it wasn't like, because she ended on a song that wasn't even one of her best songs. It was just like it just ended, and then I heard her say, "Super Bowl halftime show was presented by Pepsi." I said, "What?" I'm just getting settled in, and so that's my two critiques.
Hey, did you see the meme about if she was gonna have Oompa Loompas dancing with her?
Oh, they had a field there as far as with the memes. She had all kind of memes. But I guess the big story was she revealed her pregnancy during the Super Bowl show by, I guess, lifting up her shirt, showing her belly, and then kind of doing a little rub to let people know that she's due for a second child.
That was letting you know, stay off all this critiquing me. You know that I can give a good show. I'm with child.
Steve. Yeah, no, I was okay. Like I said, as long as she would have stuck to her best songs, then I was okay with it. That's my only critique. I said she should have had somebody else go on stage, and so it would be all on her. It was good. I mean, it was good though. I mean, it definitely wasn't bad. It was just it was a disappointment because she could have done much better. It was one of those where she left you wanting more. That's what I felt. I mean, how'd you feel?
That's a good show when they leave you wanting more.
Yeah, well. If you're in a halftime show, you should be like
a showstopper.
When Michael Jackson and Prince did theirs, they were showstoppers. You were like, man,
you can't compare anyone to Michael Jackson or Prince.
But that's my whole point. That she's not on that level, so she should have had Jay-Z go up there or anybody else go up there and help her out. Just make it more let the crowd get really pumped up. It's like, yeah, oh yeah, geez.
I'm with you, Rihanna. Riri, my friend.
Yeah, she's my friend too. But I just said she should have had Jay-Z up there. Whatever it took. That would have brought the house. You know what I'm talking about. That would have brought the house down. If he would have came out there and they do Run This Town.
I expected the special guest, and I expected to be him when they said Jay-Z's in the house.
Yeah,
I expected all this to go down. I don't.
It could even be ASCP Rocky, since that's her husband. He could have gone up there and done a song.
They got a song together.
It don't matter. I mean, we've had other halftime shows where somebody go up there and do their own song. If you want to do a special guest, they announce special guest.
Right.
He could have gone up there and done one of his best songs. That would have brought the house down.
Yeah, he's nowhere near that level.
No, he's not that level, but the fact that they're together, if he goes on stage with her and does one of his songs or whatever, that at least would have given the crowd something else, especially for the young people.
I get that to you. I get that to you.
That's all. I mean, those are my two critiques. So whoever's doing it next year, do your best songs and make sure you have somebody else perform with you, just to give the crowd something else to get into.
While we talking about the shows, how did you like the Babyface?
And I'm a Babyface fan, but it just wasn't. It's not the song for he's not the singer. He's a musician. He's a writer. He's a talent, but it's just not the right song for him to do.
Hey, if you guys giving any hate mail, make sure you send it to Steve's DMs personally.
I liked it, Babyface, but come on. Anybody who watched that, did you like feel sorry for him? People like saying like, man, it was painful.
It got good toward the end.
It got good towards the end, but the beginning was painful. You admit. It was kind of like you didn't.
You keep throwing rocks.
I like Babyface, but that's just not where he should be doing. He should not be doing that type of song and that moment, and that it's just not him.
Okay. What about when they did the Black National Anthem?
Oh, I thought Shirley Ralph was amazing. They tried to sit there and say she was a lip singer, but it sounded amazing to me. I thought she did a great job. You know, I'm not into all that whole controversy. There's only one national anthem, blah, 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 blah. All that nonsense. It's BS.
A lot of people was into that.
Yeah, I'm not into all that.
The national anthem was awesome.
Yeah.
The way he put that together.
Yeah, the way he put together was awesome too.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I thought he did a great job. Chris Stapleton. I thought Shirley Ralph did a great job. Just Babyface. Yeah.
What about the controversy with DeMar with this jacket?
Well, he did come out and apologize.
Oh, he did?
Oh, yeah. He came out and apologized just in the sense of he didn't want to offend anybody. I guess apparently it was a Japanese designer made the jacket. I want to say, I forget, was it Kanye? I think it was Kanye, along with the Japanese designer, were the ones behind the design of the jacket. And he just saw it was a cool looking jacket. So he's like, I like the jacket.
See, me and you had a conversation about this before the show.
Right.
And I was telling you, kids would be kids. And he didn't think that much into it.
No.
I'm pretty sure his mom gave him a tongue lashing about it.
Yeah. Because it wasn't appropriate for that type of setting. I mean, especially when you know you're going to be the center of attention.
It was poor taste.
You know, I mean, he could have worn a Bills jacket, and that would have been much more, you know, especially being a Bills player, you would think they wanted to wear a Bills jacket to represent the organization. But it is what it is. Peterson did come out and criticize it. Later on, they said that Peterson got criticized.
Adrian Peterson, to be exact.
That's Adrian Peterson.
AP.
I forget sometimes that we're just such sports fans that we just like Peterson's. Like, yeah, we know it.
Well, we know, but you got to clarify. It's a couple Petersons.
Adrian Peterson, who's usually a very class act. He's had a couple of issues himself, but for the most part, has been a class act. He came out and was very critical of Damar Hamlin. Then Peterson got criticized because they were like saying, "Who are you to judge when you've had your own stones?" Then Peterson said, "Okay, I'm going to go ahead and talk to him." So apparently they had a conversation, and then he said Peterson was content, saying that he talked about, he understood that it wasn't intentional, and so they kind of did a little dap, and I guess everything is clear. So
okay.
So yeah, so just next time, just wear the sports gear. Don't try to put too much into it. You're on national TV. Anything you do is going to be critiqued. So just keep it simple.
Yeah. Everybody had your back.
Yeah,
and you gotta think outside the box.
Think outside the box. Yeah, don't try to put too much into anything. Just keep it simple. You're a Bills player, wear the Bills gear, and nobody will criticize you.
Well, Steve, let's get into this news.
Oh, yeah.
The NBA has been popping with some stuff going on.
Yeah,
some big ones.
Yeah, last we left, we were talking about my man LeBron, the King James, breaking the record And there were a couple of trades that had started. I think the Russell Westbrook trade had just gone through that day when we met last week.
Right after we got off the air, it went through.
Yeah, it went through right after we got off the air. But then the big one goes through right after that. KD, Kevin Durant. Now, before I get into it, what do you think about that trade? What do you think about Kevin Durant getting traded?
You know me. I've been pretty quiet on the NBA because you know how I feel about the Lakers being under siege.
Yeah.
But KD has. I can see a ring coming to that team very, very soon. I can see it.
I don't know.
You don't think so?
They traded away the bench. I mean, their starting five is elite, but you can't just win the NBA on just 5 guys. You got to have somebody else coming in.
Well, you know, this is a new NBA.
Yeah,
see, I think they'll do just fine with subbing. You know, with the cord and with the subs coming in. I think they'll be just fine.
Okay.
Especially, you know, in this NBA, they'll play a team that has superstars on it, and it'll be the week where they get the rest.
Well, I will say this much. I'll add this much because I did criticize Kyrie Irving last week for his decision making. Kevin Durant, if you remember, about 5-6 years ago, he was winning championships with the Warriors. And he decided to go find his own oasis in Brooklyn, and then brought Irving, of course, in Harding with him. Man, was that a bust. That was supposed to have been.
It happens sometimes. It happens.
Multiple championships supposed to come to Brooklyn with that trade, and nothing. They didn't even get past, I think, the first round with that big
well, you know, people think when you bring score and they think they're going to mesh.
Right.
Sometimes those attitudes are the same attitude, and they just don't click together.
Yeah.
They don't know how to work together.
Well, whatever it is, all I know is that I see in Kyrie Irving and I see in Kevin Durant, ever since they left the superstars, they got nothing to show for it. I mean, you're in the prime of your career, and you should have at least 4 or 5 rings by now. And right now, all Kevin Durant guys are 2 with Curry, and all Kyrie Irving has is the 1 with LeBron. And so we'll see. I mean, this is going to be their legacy, because when you leave a winning situation, you better come through it, or else you're going to be looked at as a loser.
I think the new NBA is where, you know, everybody's going just to find the check.
Well,
just going to find a check. I don't think it has to do with rings anymore, Steve.
You
know how I am about this.
Yeah, you might be right. But that being said, though, I mean, talking about your boy Cam Newton, as talented as he is,
how do we go from basketball?
Well,
would you?
I'm using the example.
You want to kick me because of Cam Newton?
No, it's somebody that you can relate to.
Okay, go ahead. Give me your analogy.
Well, I'm just saying, the analogy is that Cam Newton, somebody for as immense talent that he is. I mean, would you say he's an immense talent?
Yes, he is.
In the last 15 years, is he probably like as far as just talent alone, top 3, as far as his physical talent?
Yes, he is.
Okay, but because of those intangibles, going for the check, not being committed to the game, what does he have to show for his career?
See, I don't think Cam Newton went for the check. I think
he did.
I don't think he went for the check. What I think in Cam Newton, he was too concerned with how he looked, how his swag was, and less concerned about gameplay. And even if that wasn't the case, that's the way it looked.
Right.
And people didn't like him for that. And he got picked on for that.
Right.
Because Cam Newton was true to Carolina, and Carolina in the end basically put the dagger in his back.
I mean, but was it deserved, though? The question is, did he deserve the dagger?
No, he didn't deserve the dagger.
I do. Why not?
No. He deserved a chance to make the team work, and he got let go too soon.
So you think they should have kept on to him and just they weren't going nowhere? They were stagnant. He was not committed to it. I mean, ask Steve Smith. Steve Smith will go off all day of the letdown that this guy just didn't bring it. He didn't have that it factor. He didn't have that Jordan factor. He didn't have that fire in him. Like you said, he was more concerned with doing the Superman poses.
Well, see, not this. No, see, you taking words. He was more concerned with his style, the way he looked, because
Right.
he come to the game looking colder than cold, but
Right.
when you come to the game looking like Joe Cool, looking like Iceberg Slim, you gotta win games.
And that's it. But that goes back to what I'm saying. He didn't have that fire to win. I mean, his career is going to go down as just being a what if, what could have been.
You know, and I hate that for him. I hate that for him because all that talent,
right?
He should still be playing now, but like we just talked about in the NBA, those attitudes, and meshing with people. Cam Newton, I think his biggest thing was when he made mistakes, the people would be down on him, but more than people being down on him, he would be down on himself too hard, and he couldn't get out of that mental factor.
But you always speak about how he needed to work on his accuracy. He the ball would go all over the place. He couldn't hit the guy if his life depended on it. Hey. What did you see over the course of years in the league that showed that he was committed to working on his deficiencies, making them better?
You know, 1 year in the offseason, unless it was a fluke, unless it was somebody just opening their mouth saying something, it was said that he worked out with Kurt Warner,
Hall of Famer,
the year that the Carolina went undefeated all those games.
Right.
He worked out with him in the offseason on his accuracy, and he came in there beasting that season.
And let's keep in mind, Kurt Warner doesn't have half the talent that Cam Newton has. I like Kurt Warner. I'm not saying that to be disrespectful to Kurt Warner, but I think Kurt Warner will admit to the fact, as far as his physical gifts, he didn't have half the gifts of Cam Newton.
Are you talking about the man with the Super Bowls?
Well, yeah, I'm talking about the man whose heart led him to 3 Super Bowls. It wasn't his running. It wasn't running over people. He didn't have the greatest of arm. He had a good arm, but he didn't have as talented of arms as Cam Newton had.
What?
Kurt Warner. You going to say Kurt Warner had a better strong arm than Cam Newton? I'm not talking about accuracy. I'm talking about
Steve,
arm.
you can have a strong arm if you don't have accuracy. But all you do is got a cannon. Kurt Warner was dropping dimes, man.
But because he worked on his craft. The point I'm trying to make to you is that it wasn't that he was born with the gifts of a strong arm. If he had the amazing strong arm, he wouldn't have gone to Northern Iowa. He wouldn't have had to go through the USFL and Europe and all those other places to get to the NFL.
I hear you.
He wouldn't have had to work at the grocery store and be found off the street. He got to where he got to be at because he put in the work.
Hey, and he was amazing.
And he was amazing at it because
the same can be said about Mr. Tom Brady, right?
But what's that? But everywhere he went, he was amazing. He left the Rams, went to the Giants, made them winners, then went to Arizona and took them to the Super Bowl.
Hey.
So he had 3 opportunities where in all 3 places he was successful.
So I think that's talent.
Well, it's talent based on hard work and ethic. It was he put in the time. He studied the game. He focused. He worked with the receivers in the offseason. He put everything in to football.
And you know what? It's a lot to be said about that. And we're getting into it a little bit because what I would like to bring up is Mr. Irrelevant, Mr. Last pick in the draft that looked wonderful.
Wonderful, yeah.
It wasn't because of work ethic and everybody has work ethic. So don't say that.
There are a lot of guys who don't have work ethic. We can go through the leagues and see a lot of guys who don't get me wrong, they like the game.
We're talking about people that just get drafted.
Talking about the game.
I'm not talking about people that got get their paycheck and then afterwards don't have the work ethic.
No,
all these guys that came up in the draft worked their butts off to get where they were at.
I disagree on that one. There are guys who got in the league on talent alone. Don't get me wrong, they love the game. They play. They put the practice stuff in, but they weren't Kobe to the game. They weren't live and die, dream the game.
Yeah, nobody's Kobe to the game.
But there are a lot of guys who not even close to what Kobe is. There are a lot of guys, and Kobe. I mean. You remember back in the day, Kobe would sit there and be mad at guys because he said they were guys who want to leave the practice before practice is over with. They would come in late. They would come in laughing and playing around, and it would irritate him because it's like this is my livelihood. This is my heart. This is my soul.
But there's how many people have that passion for basketball, football? That's another thing we got to get into.
Right.
How many players really have that passion?
Well,
once they get that big paycheck, it seems like the game is over for some of these people.
Right. And that dignifies the great ones from the good ones to the ones, like you said, who are just coming to get a paycheck. That's the league. I mean, the league is, everybody deserves to be in the league. Everybody has that talent to be in the league, but who has that drive and that will to rise above? I mean, much of people hated Tom Brady. He put in 23 plus years of just full commitment, lifestyle, eating, not going out to the clubs every night, not doing all the drinking the champagne and partying. He committed himself in the offseason completely to nothing more than preparing for the next season.
You know what? I'm glad you said Tom Brady. You know why?
What's that?
There's been rumblings about him coming back out of retirement.
That's what I heard.
That's hilarious.
That would be the greatest story ever. If he came back and played again, that would really be.
I'll tell you like this. When Tom Brady retired the first time, he didn't retire because he wanted to retire.
No.
He said he retired so everybody would leave him alone.
Right.
So he wouldn't get all those questions. He's a person like, stop. When you do an interview, they want to ask you 50 million questions that you're not ready to answer at that time. So what better way to shut them down than to say, I retired?
I agree. Yeah. I mean, that's the wrong reason to retire. You should only retire because it's in your heart, it's in your soul, and the time is.
Just because you say you retire, you're not really retired till you retire.
Retire. Yeah. You got to really. The fact that he hasn't taken advantage of his Fox job yet, everybody knows he has a huge contract to go be the number one broadcaster for Fox News. And speaking of that, not that we're going to just segue into it. What's the job you felt your guy Greg Olsen, soon to be Carolina Panther Hall of Famer, did?
I'm glad you brought that up because aren't they kind of snubbing him for Tom Brady?
Well, the agreement was he knew when he signed the contract that as soon as Tom Brady decided to become the number one guy at Fox, that would move Greg Olsen to number 2, and the difference between number 1 and number 2 is about $6 million a year and about a couple other perks that comes with it. So right now he's making about $10 million a year being the number 1 guy at Fox. Whenever Tom Brady decides to broadcast, he'll move down to $4 million. And we'll get
woe is him. Woe is him.
I mean, he's not gonna be dying, but it's just the prestige. I mean, right now, he's being the number 1 guy. That's big. I mean, and I'm gonna say this. I thought I would put him in the top 3 from what all Super Bowls I've watched as far as his performance. I thought he was real. I thought he was on point. He didn't try to overtake. He wasn't too big for the moment. He didn't try to oversell anything. I mean, even at the end when he talked about the officiating call, he just kept it real. It wasn't like no exaggeration or that. He just was like, I don't think it's a good call, and and explain why. I give him credit. I mean, I thought if I was Fox, I mean, I know Tom Brady's Tom Brady, so you got to get, of course, put him number 1,
right?
But if I'm Greg Olsen, I might have to look for another pasture to be number 1 because he should be a number 1 announcer.
Hey, it's so many jobs he could take.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be jobs opening.
It's easy to move over until they need you back.
I'm not going to say any words. Chris Collinsworth.
Ooh.
Take that job, please. NBC, do whatever you got to take. Chris Collinsworth, it's tough to listen to him at sometimes. Even Romo now has fallen down.
Oh, stop it!
Come on now.
Romo,
you want to take Greg? Listen, I take Greg Olsen over Romo any day.
Romo's one of the best ones.
Man, he was one of the best ones.
Man, Steve,
I just keep. Hey,
you hard on the person.
You got me on here to tell it like it is.
Hey, you hard on him, Steve.
Listen to me. Tony Romo came out like wildfire, but then I don't know what it is. He just kind of lost that mojo.
I think he's just fine. I think he's just fine. Is there any more basketball news?
Did we talk any more basketball? Like I said, we talked about Durant. That was the big one.
The trades.
Russell Westbrook and John Wall. Now, these are 2 guys who ended up getting traded, but both of their organizations that got him waived them. They cleared waivers, so now they are free agents. Now, Russell Westbrook is an interesting one because the Lakers didn't really treat him right. I mean, he did his thing. I mean, of course, he could have done things better, but
he did nothing.
Given he's an LA guy, the guy lives and bleeds LA, they could have treated him a little better than what
Russell Westbrook?
Yeah, Russell Westbrook. Yeah. He never was given a chance to really
Mm.
do what he needed to do. But it's saying the Clippers might take it. Now imagine he goes to the Clippers
Maybe he'll start balling then.
and start balling, and not just start balling, but imagine he goes there and they win a championship. Ooh, that's gonna be something. I mean,
Yeah. I'll keep imagining.
But think about it though. If you could Russell Westbrook at the 1, Paul George at the 2, Kyrie Irving at the 3,
Okay.
and you can get 2 guys off the street and beat 4 and 5. That team's a championship team. I take that team over the Suns with Paul, Booker, and Durant.
Okay.
I would take that team over any day because number one, with Kyrie, you got a proven winner. We know Kyrie Leonard will take them to the promised land. He's shown.
Well, we're waiting to see that, Steve.
All right,
that's yet to be seen.
Okay, so we'll go there. So those are the big news. Like I said, most of the other trade, it was a big trading day. We'll leave it at that. We'll get some more into the NBA later, but we'll see how it all turns out.
You know what? Let's get into that game, man. You know, the Super Bowl
there was a game.
passed.
There was a game on Sunday. I didn't know, but we had a game on Sunday.
Oh man, it was the game, the game of games.
That game. You mean the game? What you call the Fool's Gold versus Patrick Mahomes,
KC versus
Philadelphia.
The Eagles.
The Eagles. I'll start off. Number one, I thought both quarterbacks showed out. I mean, if the Eagles would have won, Jalen Hurts would have been MVP. Chiefs won, so of course Mahomes is the MVP. I thought they both played well. The game was decided. I know you mentioned it. You called me and talked about it. The game was decided on one turnover. There was just one bad turnover by Hurts.
So whose fault was it, Steve?
No, the turnover was Hurts' fault.
Oh,
I mean, there's no question. The turnover was Hurts' fault, and I mean they lost the game because of it. But the difference between that and what we're talking about Dak Prescott was that Dak Prescott, there were many other opportunities to win the game.
Many other opportunities to win the game.
Whereas in the case of Jalen Hurts played out. I mean, you can't compare Dak Prescott's performance to Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts played.
It's night and day.
Night and day.
Jalen Hurts is a real quarterback.
Right, he played. And so I'm just talking about from the Cowboy organization. And can I segue into this while we're talking about the Cowboys since you brought
Say it. Speak on it,
my
Steve.
man Herm Edwards. Anybody who don't know who Herm Edwards was, this was a great cornerback for the Eagles, known for the Miracle at the Meadowlands. You know, Giants fans don't want to hear about that. But he also coached in the NFL with the Jets, a couple other teams. I think he's well known for his famous line, "You play to win the game." That was a great line. But anyway, Herm Edwards was on First Take today. And of course, they're talking about planning for next season and who are the contenders for next season. And ESPN, you know, which is like either whether you're Stephen A. Smith, who's a Cowboy hater, or the rest of the team who like just jumps all over the Cowboys. They kept talking about the Cowboys, of course, being one of the elite teams as a contender. And Herm Edwards says, I can't take it anymore. I got to speak out on this. He said the Cowboys he's done. He said, I'm done trying to pump up the Cowboys. This is the 6th or 7th best team in the league. Why are we keep talking about them as if they're one of the top 3? I'm done. I got to just say it. Now, I've been saying this all season. I've been on here and I've been criticized. I had people, Cowboy fans, calling in. I'm glad that Herm Edwards stands by what I said. Cowboys are not America's team.
Ooh, that's a strong statement.
That's a strong statement. But it's true.
Don't get mad at them star status. We love y'all. We love y'all star status. Don't get mad at him.
And you know,
Steve is he's telling it from the heart.
From the heart. How can you not win for 25 years and be called America's team? I don't understand.
I think somebody explained it best. They're America's team because they're like one of the most popular teams. Yeah. See, so
are the Yankees.
We're talking about football.
But I'm just saying there's a lot of teams that are popular.
The Yankees could be America's team,
but they're America's team.
Baseball.
But they can be because they've won championships recently.
Ooh,
you got to win.
Low blow.
I'm just listen to me. I'm just telling you like it is. You got to win championships to be considered America's team. That's all I'm doing. That Herm Edwards has my back. So I'm gonna get Herm ever some dap on that. It's just why do we keep talking about them like they're a top 3 team, but nothing they've done in the last 25 years has shown that.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah,
we're in the Super Bowl. I know.
I just wanted.
I know your hatred for
I just wanted
Dallas.
to get into that.
Your hatred for Dallas runs deep.
Ooh, deep.
But the comparison that
All right.
we were bringing up
was
was
a winning team. Let's talk a winning team, the KC Chiefs.
No, but the comparison that we were bringing up was we had an argument.
Yes,
because I blamed Dallas losing on Dak Prescott.
Yes, you did.
In the playoff game, I said that the interceptions Dak Prescott threw was the reason that Dallas lost the game.
And
so it was Dak Prescott's fault.
Right. And I argued against that because I said there were other factors as well, as if not having a running game, that cost them more than the turnovers did.
Now, in this game,
yes,
Jalen Hurts had a costly fumble.
Correct. But that still being said, they lost the game in the fourth quarter because for some sticking reason, a coach has been doing a good job coaching all year. He abandoned the running game. I mean, I don't understand it. They weren't doing great running the ball, but they were controlling the clock and keeping Mahomes off the field.
Hey, they were doing their thing. Mahomes did not touch that ball.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts had 15 carries for 70 yards.
Right.
3 touchdowns. Kenneth Gainwell, seven carries for 21 yards.
Right.
Sanders, 7 carries, 16 yards. Boston Scott's 3 carries, 8 yards.
Right there, that's 17 carries, including the 7 by Hurts. That's 24 carries. I mean, that's what kept the game relevant, is that they ran the ball, kept Mahomes off the field. Now, I will say something. Miles Sanders, can we find you? Miles Sanders, where are you? Miles,
he did that all year long. Ooh. This man was on my fantasy football team, and I told you, he irritated me all year long.
Well,
on fantasy, he's supposed to be my stud. He's a stud one game, and he's a dud the next 3.
Miles, you can't go 7 for 16 yards in the Super Bowl. That just is not acceptable. And the team needs you too much. I mean, you got to have at least one. Now he should have had a little more run. Like I said, the fourth quarter, I don't know why they abandoned the running game, but come on.
But what happened to see? What happened to the Eagles' defense? That's the main thing that you need to ask, because they were stout when they played Dallas.
But
they played the Chiefs. The Chiefs' defense is suspect.
Right.
But I don't know who talked madness to the Chiefs these last 2 games. They stood up like big dogs.
I mean, listen to me. That's championship football. You play your best when the lights are brightest.
Andy Reid.
That's Andy Reid.
Pat Andy Reid on the back.
Well, look, did you hear the story about Andy Reid told them if anybody stepped out of the locker room to go look at Rihanna, just keep walking because you're not going to play the rest of the game? He said, if anybody leaves this locker room to go look at Rihanna, don't even try to come back. Just keep walking. You can go sit in the stands because you ain't going to play the second half.
Wow. Patrick Mahomes.
That speaks volumes.
21, 27 attempts, 182 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Mr. Pacheco, 15 carries for 17 yards. I mean, 15 carries, 76 yards, and 1 touchdown. But he averaged 5 yards a carry.
But Isaiah Pacheco did what Miles Sanders should have done.
Did you see how fired up he was?
Yeah, he was fired up. I mean, but he played like he wanted to be there. Miles, where are you? Miles, come back.
Hey, even Patrick Mahomes on the high ankle sprain, 6 carries, 44 yards.
Yeah, I mean, he ran as well as Jalen Hurts did, given the circumstances. That's winning football. The winning football guys step it up in the big game. Mahomes stepped it up. I mean, Jalen Hurts stepped it up. Other than that one horrible turnover, I mean, but you are saying that lost in the game, that one horrible turnover, he stepped it up. He had an MVP performance.
Hey,
it was a good game. I mean,
MVP. I think that I wanted to give it to Jalen. Remember?
Oh yeah,
Patrick Mahomes deserved it. You know why? That man, he used every person, every piece of personnel on the team to win the game.
Yeah, they played every. I mean, Tony had a touchdown. Sky Moore had a touchdown. I mean, you got deep in the bench. What's his name? Had a big second half. Smith Schuster.
You know me, I was down on them after they lost Tyreek Hill. I thought they was gonna miss a beat, and they didn't miss nothing.
And since we're talking about the offense, can we get the enemy a job? What does a man got to do to get a job in the NFL? Now, this is what sickens me about the NFL.
Who you want to get a job?
Eric Bieniemy, offensive coordinator for the Chiefs. The man, the last 4 or 5 years, all he's done is take them to 3 Super Bowls and win 2. Now, the Eagles' offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator both got head coaching jobs. The offensive coordinator went to the Colts. Defensive coordinator went to the Cardinals. Job? Yes, he's been begging for the job. He said, "I'll interview anywhere. Anybody who'll hire me, I would go. Let me be the head coach."
All right. Well, I will put a word for me in Carolina, but we only sign people that have losing records.
Yeah, I see. Goodness. Now, what do you think about their pickup for their associate head coach, Jim Caldwell? And did you see the article I sent you on that? Did you see the article I sent you regarding?
Every time you send me something, I feel like it, like you just trying to kick rocks at me.
How can you hire Jim Caldwell? Should be the head coach of the Panthers over Frank Reich. Jim Caldwell is a proven winner in the NFL.
I'm just happy they got him. So he's going to be talking with the person that we all need to hold hands and get some love going, because hey man, I'm just ready to win, Steve.
I mean, I know Jim Caldwell and Frank Reich were both coaches. Jim Caldwell led them to the Super Bowl and had like 4 or 5 straight 13, 14 win seasons. Frank Reich had the 4 or 5 seasons of like 6 wins, 7 wins. The NFL is something else. I mean, I don't get it.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah, but I'll leave it for another day. We'll get that. Yeah. We'll leave the argument. That's a whole nother show.
But Philly fans, Eagles Nest, the club, all you guys, you guys have nothing to hang your head about.
No.
Philly is dangerous, and they are in the house. Philly, if I was you, the Raiders are expected to franchise tag Mr. Jacobs. Right. If they got them a running back, a bona fide a beast of pounding, woo-wee.
Well, they can
offense match the running.
Yeah, they can get a free agency. They can look at it in the draft, get with their first round pick. I mean, it's
well, what I have to say is, like I told you, I called them fool's gold, and I apologize for that. But Jalen Hurts is pretty new, right?
Right.
Do you think after the videotape, will he have the same success next season?
Well, the big question is going to be, like I said, of course they lost both their coordinators. That's number one. They're going to have to pay Jalen Hurts. Let's be honest. He's going to have to get paid. So that's going to take away from some of the talent.
Hey, you don't think they'll give him the 5th-year option?
Well,
NFL is something else, man.
NFL is something else. I mean, that would be a huge slap in the face. I mean, they could franchise tag him for a couple of years, do that whole spiel. I mean, he's someone you can definitely franchise and do the Kirk Cousins on him. They got a couple more years to be up there. I mean, I don't see anybody in that division right now taking him. I mean, of course, everybody's going to say Cowboys. So don't let me go there again.
They got Dak Prescott.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so the Eagles will be back up there again next year.
Oh, okay.
And
okay. Well, we're gonna get to the to the prediction part of the show.
Oh yeah.
Predictions.
Oh yes.
This was the first season that my beginning predictions were horrible. The last two seasons, I was right on point.
Man, I'll tell you. Before we get to those predictions, you want to talk about who won the award ceremonies on Thursday? Because last Wednesday we predicted who we thought was going to win. Do you want
you go ahead and kick it off and let us know?
Okay, let's go ahead. So, as far as MVP, you had Mahomes, I had Jalen. You won. You got that one. Mahomes MVP.
Yes, sir.
Now, Offensive Player of the Year, we kind of were way off base with that one. Justin Jefferson won.
I don't see it.
He had a great season.
Season,
but
I still don't see it.
I don't see it either.
Who did I pick?
I think you had Mahomes too, or you had either I think we either had Mahomes or we had
I think I had Jalen Hurts.
Hurts. Yeah,
I think I had Hurts.
I
think he should have got it.
Yeah,
for what he did with that team.
And I'm with that
because the season before that they were awful, right?
Right.
And then this season it was like night and day, right?
I agree. I mean, I'm with you. So
every game they had with Jalen Hurts, they won except for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm with you. So that was a surprise. That's the one we both got wrong. We did get defensive player right, Nick Bosa. We pretty much said that was a slam dunk.
Yeah,
we did get comeback player of the year right, Geno Smith.
Right.
That made sense. Ooh, did you watch for Walter Payton Man of the Year?
No.
Did you see how badly they treated Dak Prescott up there? So this is supposed to be like the most prestigious award for someone who does great job off the field in the community, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Man, he got booed so bad, he had to get that like silly grid, like that embarrassing. Man, why the hell am I here?
Must have been a lot of Dallas fans in the place.
Yeah, a lot of Dallas fans, a lot of Eagle fans. So between the two of them, they both had a field day booing him to the point where other players had like pat him on the back and like, it's gonna be okay.
So he had that stupid grin, like,
he had that stupid grin, like,
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. This is gonna be, you can't take it away from me. I'm still man of the year. So I felt, that was the first time I actually felt bad for a Cowboy. Don't boo the man when he's getting the man of the year award. Come on now.
Hey.
But so that was kind of a sad moment. But then the other two kind of surprises too. Sauce Gardner won for defensive player rookie of the year, and Garrett Wilson won for offensive rookie of the year. And we were way off on that one. I don't know. Maybe just people were voting. I don't understand that. But interesting award show. Interesting. I thought, it is what it is.
You know what? Can I get 2 minutes to do a Cali Cat Pack report?
Please do.
Hold on 1 second. And this is the Cali Cat Pack report. Hey, Panther Nation, Cali Cat Pack, Roaring Riot. Hey, it is what it is. We're in the off season now. What do? What do we need? We need a quarterback. I'm gonna put this out to you guys. I'm gonna say what I feel. You guys DM me like you do. Let me know how you feel. Do we need to take a risk on grabbing a brand new quarterback out of this draft, rolling the dice as much as the Jets have rolled the dice and been wrong each time with number 1, number 2 picks? Or do we just go grab or try to grab Derek Carr? Derek Carr won the accuracy test in the Pro Bowl. My feelings is we grab Derek Carr. We have a plethora of picks to shore up the defense. What I would like for us to do is grab the number 1 corner out there to put next to Horn so we can have shutdown corners. I would like to keep Norman for league minimum for 1 more year, maybe play the nickel. But at the same time, a shutdown corner. We need a middle linebacker. We probably can address that in free agency also, but get us two or 3 defensive ends. I'm talking about beasts where we can trade in where the quarterback is constantly being tested. A middle linebacker, 2 defensive ends, get us a nice wide receiver to complement more on the side. Bring in a Derek Carr with the accuracy. Put some more pieces on the O-line because our O-line it had our quarterback Donald looking like he had a little bit of swag back there because we picked up our rookie quarterback the year before. I said give him another chance to get his legs up under him. Run Derek Carr, man. Let's get Derek Carr. Let's not trade away no picks for a maybe. I hope, because these guys have great expectations coming out of college. Hey, it is what it is, but you guys let me know what you feel or how you think about that. But I'm thinking Derek Carr and then use all our draft picks to our advantage to shore up the team. So even if Derek Carr comes in and we consider him a bust after 1 or 2 years, we can move on, but I don't think he'll be a bust. I think Derek Carr is a premium player to pick up, and that's the Cali Cat Pack report that I have. Let me bring Steve back in and say, Steve, what do you think about what I just said?
Well, let me ask you, since you did bring up so much about Derek Carr,
right?
talking about loser organizations. Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, this organization.
Woo!
I mean, you got Sin City, you got a great stadium, and you just garbage as an organization. How are you just going to let Derek Carr walk, waive him for nothing? I mean, you pretty much let a top 10 quarterback, one who's in the Pro Bowl games this year, walk for no value, get nothing for him. And you did it all to yourself because all you had to do was sit here, play behind the scenes, and just let him play out the last 2 games. And then he's trade value. You would have traded for it. They could have traded anybody for him.
Let me speak on it. Las Vegas Raiders.
Garbage.
I won't call you garbage because I picked you guys to win your division this season. I didn't know that you guys were poorly coached and badly managed. And what speaks volumes about what happened with Derek Carr, even if you're going to let him go. Like Steve said, you don't let him go for nothing.
Nothing.
You bad management and bad coaching, because the Las Vegas Raiders, whether nobody wants to admit it, they have an awesome team on paper. And I believe the wrong plays were called. I believe that it was just poorly coached is the reason why they didn't win.
They had a good coach last year. The interim coach led them to the playoffs. This was a playoff. Think about it. This team was a playoff team last year. They made the playoffs. The next year, you're going to let Derek Carr just walk for nothing?
Hey, did they fire their coach last year?
Oh, they didn't retain him. He was the interim. So they pulled the Steve Wilkes.
Hey,
he led the team to the playoffs, had the team doing well, and then they just sat there and said, "Oh, we're going to hire McDaniels." I mean, Daniels has been nothing but a disappointment everywhere he's been, other than behind the Patriots.
I said bad management.
I agree.
This team, number one wide receiver, a quarterback, a Pro Bowl quarterback, tight end, top 5 tight end.
Right.
Man, they had it in the palm of their hand. They just did not react.
Just say the word garbage. They're a garbage organization. Look, I refuse to be a Commanders.
Management is garbage.
Yeah, I refuse to be a Commanders fan because of what I'm dealing with garbage and
understandable
ownership. And I don't even blame the management. It's the owner. And speaking of which, I think one more month I can become a Commanders fan again. Apparently, there's 2 bidders for the Commanders, and it's saying that the talk is that maybe Jeff Bezos is going to come out and outbid those 2 and become owner. You know, I'm not even so much a huge Jeff Bezos fan, but anybody but Snyder. If
Bezos went out of Snyder's hands.
I just want out of Snyder's hands.
And then you finally wear your Christmas present.
Yes,
I gave you?
I will put it on the show. As soon as the team is sold, I promise you, I'm going to put it on the show proudly. I'm gonna have a whole segment.
Speaking of, we're supposed to get redecorated in here, so that's coming up soon. We got a couple things coming up.
Yeah,
we're revamping, and thank you for guys for staying with us and always being faithful. Thank you for the love and support that I get, that we both get. Please like, subscribe, and share. And we love to hear your opinions about everything.
Can we close on one last topic before we go?
I'm not ready to get out of here.
Okay, I was going to be scared. The way you were talking, it sounded like we were ready to end the show.
Well, next week we're going to do predictions.
Okay.
Next week is prediction week, and we're going to get into our new football leagues that was coming.
Okay.
The Rock got me kind of excited about.
Yeah, let's say I want to talk a little XFL before we go.
Oh, most definitely.
But I didn't want to talk about the last officiating call. We can't let that go.
Oh no,
because
we're not.
You and I had a huge. I won't say it was an argument. I think it was just.
It was an argument. It was. I admit it was an argument.
Difference of opinion. Now, anybody who doesn't know, I thought it was probably one of the well officiated games that I can recall in Super Bowl for a long time. I mean, if the officials were the best thing you say about an official is that you don't even know they're there, and that's for the most part that game was played very well. There was no real controversial officiating calls. But then the last 30 seconds of the game, third down, and I think it was like 4 or 5. You had Smith Schuster was going off for a pass.
Yes.
Bradbury, if you remember Bradbury, was he with the Panthers at one time?
Yes, he was.
He did was a common thing that happens in the NFL. Guys do a little slide, little hook, kind of like slow down the momentum.
Mhm.
Wasn't even a full grab. It was more just a
Oh my
pass. It was a passing hook. It was. I mean, it was contact, but it wasn't anything that the ball was well overthrown. There was no way that Smith-Schuster was going to catch that ball. And given the nature of the game, those plays slide. Now, Bradbury himself came out and said, yeah, I did the little hook, but I thought they were going to let it slide because that's what officials do. Because it's the NFL now, they're going to sit here and make the call. Where my problem goes into is that they got to do something about just leaving that feeling of that the officials are affecting the game. I mean, it's a more of a snowball effect. It's an accumulation of these officiating calls. They got to do something about that.
Okay. What
I'm gonna tell you,
we're both in agreement.
Yes.
On the NFL, Roger Goodell, please. We're gonna make this a clip and we're gonna put this on TikTok.
Yes.
Roger Goodell, this goes out to you from Blow the Whistle Sports. Me, Wayne Holloway, and Mr. Steven Rubain. Clean this officiating up.
Clean it up.
We are tired of not knowing what's a call and what and how far it should go.
Hallelujah.
Please put guidelines in there. Please let us know how can we critique it?
Yeah.
Please stop letting the referees manufacture the games and sway the games, so I can stop hearing people talk about fixed. I can stop talking about people talking about script, influence, all these nasty words I'm tired of hearing. Mr. Goodell, clear up officiating in the offseason.
But it's been year after year after year. We've been saying this for year after year after year. We've been saying this, and it's still the same thing. Now, I'm going to give the XFL credit since we're going to
wait a minute. I'm not finished.
All right, I'm going to say about that. But
I let you say about what you said about the call, and I'm glad you said what you said about the call, the hook. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
To be clear out there, either you want them to make the calls or you don't want to make the calls.
Right.
I understand when a team loses, they want, or not, the fans want to blame it on something. But this is one call that I'm glad Steve said it was the hook. And see, the hook is not what they call. The tug is what they call. See, it was a hook and a tug. Yeah. It wasn't just a hook. He hooked them first, and then he grabbed the back of his jersey. So he had two different things, which is why they made the call.
But it happens all the time. You know, in the NFL game, these guys battle throughout the entire game.
They might let a hook go. They might let a tug go. Yeah. But in this fashion, it went with the hook, then a tug. That's why he drew the flag. Now, that's why I said, Mr. Goodell, you got to clear this up.
But clear it up. That's what I'm saying. My issue is it just goes back and forth. Sometimes it's called, sometimes it's not called. So even the players are like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what's right, what's wrong. We don't know from game to game how it's going to be called. I might do it 10 times one game. Then the 11th time they call it, and I'm like, man, I've been doing this the whole game. What's going on? That's the problem with the NFL. Now, what I was trying to bring into is that the XFL has a solution for it. And that says that in the league starting this Saturday and Sunday, you guys are sitting around, need some football fix. You're going to have double headers on Saturday and Sunday this week.
I'm in it.
They're going to have it where coaches have one time in the game where they can even question an official's foul. That they can go back to the replay and question the official's foul.
I love that.
Yeah, because that then will at least force them now to go back and review it. And if the official still wants to sit there and say, you're going to stick with the call, at least it did its due diligence. And everybody sit there and say, okay, well, we can't do anything because that's what the officials.
And see, that's for those phantom calls.
Right.
But this call right here wasn't a phantom call.
But
it was called and it was done twice on the same play.
Right.
The foul was done twice on the same play. That's why I love that you brought up the hook.
Yeah.
Because most people didn't even bring up the hook. They only brought up the tug.
Right.
But you brought up the hook when it was the hook first, then the tug on the jersey.
No question. It was
which slowed him down, which Juju might have been able to make the catch.
Given where the ball landed, it would have been one of those amazing. He would have had to have both feet tiptoeing the sidelines to catch the ball.
We don't know because he got hooked and he got pulled back.
Well, but the trajectory of the ball, it would have been a hard catch. But like I said, I don't have an issue with the call in itself. I have an issue with the fact that the circumstance of the game
was predicated off of the
call.
Yeah,
and that's the problem we're having. That goes into the whole influence thing, is because many times during the game that's not going to be called. So now, third down and whatever, you're making that call, whereas in the first quarter that call is not being made. And so that's the issue I have. Let's get the officiating cleaned up so we have a clear understanding. When I'm watching the game, I mean, it's the same with the NBA too, but see, the difference in the NBA is that the NBA coaches are allowed to protest a call.
I have an idea. I liked what the XFL is trying to do, but my thing is, I believe that a coach should have 2 of these every quarter.
Right.
2 every quarter. And if you do 2 and you don't win both, then you lose a timeout.
That's
not you lose a timeout after you mess up on one. You have to mess up. You have to get both right, or you lose a timeout. Or I guess I got to do that better.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
basically get 2 chances. If you miss both of them, then you lose a timeout.
There you have it.
So
So
the clear thing is that it puts the game onus back on getting the call right, and that's where it comes down.
But you get 2.
Yeah, you get
every
2
quarter.
Every quarter. Maybe every quarter, every half.
No,
that
every
seems
quarter.
like a lot,
every quarter.
That gives you 8 chances a game.
That every quarter.
Okay.
It's not. It has nothing to do with chances. If it should be already called from the booth, but if it's not called, and the booth needs to make more reviews.
Yeah,
the booth needs to make more reviews. And I understand the reason why we don't go back through stuff is because the game will be a whole lot longer.
We're a longer game, but listen, the NFL's a juggernaut. They can afford to have a little bit longer games because they dominate the market so bad. I would rather sit through a well-played 3.5-hour football game than a badly officiated 3-hour game.
This is true.
So, NFL fan, I speak for all NFL fans in saying that I don't see anybody that's saying, "Oh my God, this game is too long." Oh God, the game is amazing. It's 2017 in the fourth quarter, but God, I wish this game would hurry up and end because it's just such a great game. Nobody does that.
Yeah, but
the only time people get frustrated is when, as he got in his hand there, the calls aren't being made, and then all of a sudden it's like, man, I got money on this game, and
2 a quarter.
Okay, I can live with 2 a quarter. I think that's a lot.
And it needs to be another rule, so when you run out of timeouts, that maybe you go back 5 yards or something like that.
Okay,
because these are very important when it's a questionable call or a phantom call, where we can really sum it up and clear it up really fast.
Yeah.
Also, they need to put sensors in the ball to know where, when they fall forward, where the ball lands instead of the official. I hate that. You ever watch a game like in the Super Bowl? I saw Kelsey fall down,
right,
and he got the clear first down when he fell down. Knees, nothing touched till he fell over the yellow line,
right.
and they put it short.
Yeah, they had the technology for that. That's another one where it's always a judgment call where the official decides who's going to spot the ball. I mean, there's just too many of them in the NFL that, with the technology and the stuff they have today, they can clean this up, but they're choosing not to.
Exactly.
And it's getting to a point where to the true football fans like you and I, it's getting hard to watch a game because it's happening so often. It's making you, because like I said, we don't want to buy into the whole WWE, it's scripted, but we know it's not that. But
thank you.
But we know that something got to be done so that if I'm watching the game, it's done to the best. I mean, there's always going to be mistakes, but it's just too many of them.
Mr. Goodell, do your job, sir.
Do it.
Do your job.
We need it.
And don't forget, next week we're doing predictions. Predictions next week, and this is Blow the Whistle Sports. We got more sports to get into. We got 2 football leagues jumping off.
Yes.
We got basketball popping and baseball popping, and we're gonna have some insiders coming in to even challenge us.
Yeah, I'm ready to see these baseball insiders come in. I guess we've got another week or 2 before spring training starts.
Yes.
Get in a little baseball. So yeah, things are starting to heat up. Oh, we got We got All-Star game weekend this weekend.
Oh yeah.
I forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
NBA All-Star Game weekend. We're gonna have some slam dunk contests, some 3-point shootouts. I guess the sad part this year is that Curry's hurt. He's not gonna be there. There's a lot of guys who are out, so it's not gonna be the star talent they're gonna usually have for the All-Star games. But it's gonna still be a spectacle. I mean, NBA does the All-Star weekend right.
NBA is fantastic.
I mean, when it comes to All-Star games, it's the antithesis of the NFL Pro Bowl experience.
And please like, subscribe, and share.
Yes.
We'll see y'all next Wednesday, same time,
same station.
Yes. Please like, subscribe, and share. And peace out.
Peace.